What's up, legends? Welcome back to Just Podding Around. Today, we're diving deep into one of wrestling's most enduring and decorated titles, the United States Championship. Now, this ain't just some mid-card belt that gets tossed around like a hot tag. Nah, this title has survived promotions collapsing, brand splits, and even a few creative decisions that made fans go, wait, what? Why? So, grab a drink, sit back, and let's roll through nearly 50 years of stars, stripes, and suplexes. Our story starts back in 1975, when Jim Crockett Promotions, that's the Mid-Atlantic territory, decided they needed a new prize for the top wrestlers to chase. On January 1st, 1975, the NWA United States Heavyweight Championship was born, with Harley Race becoming the inaugural champion after beating Johnny Weaver. This was during wrestling's territorial days, when the NWA World title was the top of the mountain, and the US title was like the best of the rest belt. The one that told fans, this guy's next in line. Throughout the 70s and early 80s, the belt passed through the hands of absolute workhorses. Greg Valentine, Roddy Piper, Ricky Steamboat, and Wahoo McDaniel. It wasn't just about who could talk on the mic. He had to bleed for that belt, and a few did, literally. Let's talk 1983, Starrcade. Roddy Piper versus Greg Valentine, the legendary dog collar match. No flashy gear, no fancy pyro, just two men chained together, beating each other senseless. Piper left with a busted eardrum, Valentine left with a win, and the fans left with a memory burned into wrestling history. 2 years later, Magnum TA and Tully Blanchard took things even further with their I Quit cage match at Starrcade 85. If you've never seen it, do yourself a favour. It's brutal, emotional, and is still the gold standard for storytelling through violence. By the late 80s, the title was the secondary championship of Jim Crockett Promotions, but the company was struggling. That's when Ted Turner came in, bought the promotion, and boom, the WCW era began. When Turner's money came in, the US title got a new stage and new faces. The early 90s saw a few familiar names: Lex Luger, Sting, Ricky Steamboat, Steve Austin, and Rick Rude. Lex Luger was the guy. He had 4 reigns, and one of them lasted 523 days, the longest reign in the belt's entire history. Then you had stunning Steve Austin, before the bald head and the beer, holding the US title and tearing it up with Ricky Steamboat in 1994 at Bash at the Beach. In 1991, WCW finally dropped the NWA name, making it the WCW United States Heavyweight Championship. That same year, Nikita Koloff smashed the old belt on TV, literally destroyed it, and they introduced a new design. You gotta love wrestling logic. Destroy one title, make another, and no one bats an eye. Though through the late 90s, guys like Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, Chris Benoit, Booker T, and Jeff Jarrett kept the US title relevant, even while NWO Chaos took over. Then came 2001, the invasion angle. At Survivor Series 2001, Edge defeated Test to unify the WCW US title with the WWF Intercontinental title. And just like that, poof, the United States Championship was gone. Or so we thought. Fast forward to 2003. WWE had bought WCW, split their roster between Raw and SmackDown, and they were looking for another mid-card title for the Blue Brand. On SmackDown in July 2003, Stephanie McMahon revived the United States Championship, and the tournament crowned Eddie Guerrero the first WWE era champion after he beat Chris Benoit at Vengeance. Eddie's charisma and in-ring fire gave that title instant credibility again, Latino heat lit the spark. And from there, the belt became a launch pad for future main eventers. John Cena made it his thing in 2004. Remember that spinner belt? That's peak ruthless aggression nostalgia right there. He defended it in open challenges, and honestly, those matches helped make him the guy he became. The Miz and Daniel Bryan had a heated feud over in 2010, a little student versus arrogant mentor dynamic. Then Dean Ambrose came along with a 351-day reign, the longest in WWE's version of the title. Even Seth Rollins held it simultaneously with the WWE Championship after beating Cena at SummerSlam 2015. And since then, it's been through everyone: AJ Styles, Rusev, Shinsuke Nakamura, Rey Mysterio, Austin Theory, and even Logan Paul, before going on to the current champion, Ilya Dragunov. The US title's been passed around more than a house party auxiliary cord. It's gone from SmackDown to ECW to Raw, back to SmackDown, and now it's once again exclusive to SmackDown as of 2023. Design-wise, it's seen some serious glow-up. The NWA version had the classic territorial look, gold plates, eagle, US map. WCW's 1991 redesign looked sharp and serious, a belt you could see in a Rocky montage. WWE's 2003 design stuck around for 17 years. Stars, stripes, and that early 2000s vibe. Then MVP introduced the current one in 2020. The one with the big bald eagle and the modern flair. It's polarizing, but honestly, it's grown on me. When you look back, this title has done exactly what it was meant to. It made stars. From Harley Race to Ricky Steamboat, from Lex Luger to John Cena, and now guys like Ilya Dragunov carrying that legacy forward. The United States Championship is still that ultimate test. It's where legends start climbing, and where veterans prove they're still a problem. Nearly 50 years of blood, sweat, and storytelling, and it's still going strong. Not bad for a belt that started as just another regional belt, huh? Alright folks, that's the full ride, the complete history of the United States Championship. If you learned anything new or just got hit with some wrestling nostalgia, hit that follow button, share it around. Next week we might dig into another legendary belt, or maybe a rivalry that defined an era. Till then, keep it real, keep it ruthless, and as always, I've been Reese and this has been Just Podding Around.